All right, guys, what is up? What is up? What is up? Shout out to my homie for creating Sweet Chin music. I believe that was the second version of the Fight Farm theme song. Yeah, guys, give me 1 second. I'm just trying to get the browser set up here. And it is going to be well, somewhere. Man, I'm not sure what is going on. For some reason, it doesn't want to recognize the browser. Let's see. All right, so I got to figure out what's going on there. I may have to delete and re-add the display capture. So let's see. Display capture, do add source, and that is going to be to window and to Fight Farm. Yeah, and for some reason it does not want to catch it on my secondary monitor. Well, all right. Ah, I got it. I almost got it. I think I got it. So I see what I was doing wrong on the browser capture. So let's see if I switch cameras for a second on there. And maybe if I go back to the video capture and change it over to the MX Brio, do that. The question is why is it all right, we're going to try it this way. We'll try to add a new video capture. Okay, let's see. There we go. Yeah, I don't know what was going on. It was having a little bit of an issue. So let me check Twitter now and make sure. So yeah, thanks for bearing with me. Looks like we have 2 viewers, but effectively what I'm doing here is I wanted to create a little bit of a longer kind of video. Didn't have to be super long. And I'm curious how easy it would be for me to stream and save this. But yeah, what I want to do is I want to film a video and throw it up on OmniFlix TV and then add some interactions to it. And that would be the videos that we would use to get the data required for Karate Combat 53 on February the 28th. So I was just getting this reset up and I was having some issues right off the bat. But it looks like I got it now. So I'm going to go back to share browser. And when I'm over here, and some of you guys know, we had so we had this song that was created by Framework Fortune and the producer Uncomplex. And let's see, how old is this? So this is about, looks like this was minted 8 months ago. So even this is like kind of an older song now, but a lot of people may not have heard it because they weren't familiar with Fight Farm. But this is actually the second song created by him. And we still have some listed. Most of them are listed at $49. Looks like someone listed it for 21. There's a total of 49 total NFTs, and only 21 are listed. So effectively, we had like minted these songs, and then we had a process where you could burn them, and if you burn them, you could earn other. And maybe one day we'll circle back to it. But nonetheless, man, shout out to Framework Fortune. He's over on Solana now on Drip House, but he was one of the early guys on Omniflix that we collabed with from a music standpoint, and he gave us two really badass Fight Farm songs, and that was one that we just played. It was the second, Sweet Chin Music. For those that don't know, that's a reference to Shawn Michaels, Sweet Chin Music. So, um, I'm going to test something here. So, obviously, we're live streaming right now. I'm going to pull some Discord up. I'm not quite sure right now if I go to Karate Combat. So you can see right here, here's where we did our first watch party for KC52. We're going to do KC51. I'm sorry, KC53. Um, I don't. I need to talk to Fubar. Like we did most of the requirements, I believe, to get the $250 worth of karate tokens to give out. But I have not received those tokens. These tokens here, these 100,000 here, are my tokens, and I'm using them to increase my token count by predicting the fights over there on the Karate Combat app. I did okay the first time I played, but compared to betting on UFC and the last 2 or 3 fights I've bet on UFC, I've done really well. I did not do quite as well on Karate Combat. Probably just because I understand the MMA rule set a lot better, and I just know the fighters a lot better, right? So being newer to the Karate Combat uh, league, it's going to take me probably a little bit of watching and breaking down the fighters before I really will probably feel confident to pick winners. If I'm being honest, you know, UFC man, I'm like, I'm just gonna be honest. I'm the king of picking the underdogs that win. My track record, and I don't bet on every single fight, and rarely do I put money on a favorite. Very very well in the past. Is finding those holes, especially if it's a lopsided one. Um, you know, a great example of that would be, I'll show you this fight right here. We'll go back to UFC 311 and we will go to the preliminary card. And you'll see right here Peyton Talbot. So he's 9-1 now, right? But he went into this fight undefeated on a 9-0 streak. And he was fighting Barcelos here, who was 18-5. And man, he just there were some signs that I saw in previous fights from Peyton, and don't get me wrong, I think Peyton Talbot is a very good uh, growing superstar in UFC. And it's easy to get caught up when you're being groomed sometimes. And I won't say that the UFC is specifically grooming him, but he's catching that wave, right? He's riding that wave, and for me, it was easy to notice certain telltale signs that I thought he was going to have a defeat sometime soon. And when they matched him with Raoni's uh, Barcelos initially, I wasn't thinking too much of it. But during the fight week, I saw some things online about Peyton that he was doing outside of the cage. And I saw how lopsided the odds were. And I'm talking about, I feel like it was like, I can't remember exactly what it was, but it's like 1,200 to 400. It was super lopsided. And it was basically everyone had all their money on Peyton. He was going to win. And if you put a lot of money on something that lopsided, like you have to have a huge volume of money to make any money when you're betting on such a favorite. So it's easy just to throw a much smaller amount on the underdog and fingers. But most of the time, underdogs are dangerous. And I honestly thought that Barcelos, on the grappling side, was going to show out. And don't get me wrong, he used the grappling definitely to his advantage. But to be real, the striking, I mean, you see the significant strikes here, 49 out of 84 for Talbot and 62 out of 85. So they threw roughly the same amount, and it was a 58% to 72% deficit, right? I mean, that's a pretty big number. Total strikes percentage, Barcelos was a lot more busy. Peyton just could not find his rhythm. He couldn't find the distance. 95 total thrown compared to 115. And then takedowns, man. Peyton 1 of 1 with 100% on his takedowns, but you're talking about 8 of 15. That's 53%. And then with 2 submission attempts. Now, this was a decision win in round three of the fifth. This was a decision win, but that was one that I threw money on because I just knew going into it. I'm like, you can never say that right? Especially when you're betting on an underdog. Like I said, they're an underdog for a reason. This was one that I had a hunch that this guy had all the tools to put Peyton in his place and end his undefeated streak. And there were things going on with Peyton in particular that, like I said, were telltale signs that made me confident enough to make that prediction. And of course, I showed it. I showed it before the fight. I talked about it before the fight. I talked about it during the fight. And, it was just one of those where I was on, right? I've had a few of those lately. And I think I can get to that point on Karate Combat, but I'll be honest, it's going to take me a lot more watching the way that grappling is used with some of the throws, some of the clinch work. You're not submission hunting, but you can use the or one knee on belly, one knee up, and that's a downed opponent, and you have a few seconds of ground and pound. So it's a different way of fighting, and I think a lot of these fighters are still new, especially the ones that are pure strikers, dude. Like if they've never done a lot of wrestling or jiu-jitsu, or if they're not don't have an MMA background and they're a pure boxing, pure Muay Thai, pure karate, and they're fighting in a karate combat and they get pinned on that wall or they get pinned on the floor, they make all the classic mistakes that a stand-up fighter would make once they're pinned on the ground. And you know, you never know what strikers are training in their off time, how much grappling they may or may not know. But a lot of these guys that are coming over, man, are pure strikers, and they're going against guys who are MMA backgrounds. So a lot of times in my mind, I'm like, well, it'd be easy for me to give MMA an advantage still, even in karate combat. But the fact feeling out quite as much, it's just a different rhythm. It's a different way to look at the fight. And don't get me wrong, dude, I'm excited. It's definitely from a fan standpoint, it's refreshing. You know, being someone who's a jiu-jitsu person and a grappler, I'm always going to love MMA. I'm always going to love grappling, but it's kind of refreshing to watch something. You can't pay me to watch boxing because one, look at what we just saw with Jake Paul and his last run of fighters. And the clinch work in boxing is so awful. It is clinch and rest and wait for the ref to break it up. And you know, in MMA, you don't get that, right? When they're standing in the clinch, a lot of people might find that to be boring, but there's a lot of technical fighting, whether they're clinched and they're pinned against the cage, whether they're clinched in the center. And the thing that's beautiful about karate combat is even though they don't have submissions, they allow the clinch work to take place. And as long as they're working, they don't break it up as quick as they do in boxing. It doesn't seem like, and you know that's the difference. So even though it's primarily a striking league, you can get some throws, you can get some clinch work in, and if you know how to use that ground and pound and that the wall effectively, it's going to be a fun league to figure out and watch these fighters grow. And eventually you're going to have people come along that are going to have these huge runs because they just learned how to use the pit effectively and the rule set effectively. Now, one thing we can say is the rule set has been constantly changing, uh, whether it's the elbows or the clinch work or the takedowns. All these different aspects. From and I'm newer to karate combat, so I'm aware there have been rule changes, but I wasn't necessarily around for some of the earlier rule set. But you can see the karate token holders and the league are open to the rule set changes, and I think even that makes a huge difference from fight to fight, from event to event. So I am curious as time goes on, like how much longer do we have with such rapid changes in the rule set? Because you kind of need to have some stability there for fighters to begin to find their groove. Because if you come in and like kicks to certain areas of the legs are legal or are not legal one fight or for a few fights in a row, and then all of a sudden they're legal, you have to like prepare for that. If elbows and how elbows are used, whether they're illegal and all of a sudden they're legal, like it can be a significant change in the rule set. And then, like I said, you have the ones who are primarily strikers versus guys who are MMA, and depending on where you fight and what your background is, you may or may not. And that's just some things I've picked up on and noticed. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to the next fight. I'm looking forward to seeing a few events in a row to the point where I can pick up on seeing some of these people repeatedly and start to find a groove on how I view them. Uh, you know, because it's easy to do that in UFC if you've been exposed to UFC for as long as we have. But sometimes in karate combat, I'm still not quite sure. I did not do well. I picked a few. Let me see if it retains my picks. Let's see how well I did or didn't do. I feel like it could have retained my picks from the last game. So let's see if it did. Because if I click see results, it'll show me results. But I am curious if it will show me. And let me connect my wallet. Where is Hashpack? Right there. Okay, so it does. So right here, I had put a pretty heavy bet on Screevers. He was the first champion. Now, honestly, on the cloud bet side, I actually put money on Rend. So I did bet correctly as far as like actual money. But for the karate tokens, I wanted to hedge that bet. And in case Screevers was able to pull it off and win, I really wanted to utilize that. So I put 20K karate tokens on Screevers, and I was dead wrong. Now I placed 26K on Aline Pereira. I didn't think Amanda Torres was going to, even though we didn't know much about her, she was a last minute fill in, and they're grooming Aline, so I didn't think she was going to have a very tough opponent just yet. And you see with the 26K uh, placement of karate tokens, I won 490. I did get Robellis right. Now, for those who watched his previous fight, he had a very quick knockout in like 4 seconds. And same thing, I feel like they're building him. If you've seen Robellis, he does have an MMA background. He is a striker. He's not comfortable with grappling. I think Karate Combat is the perfect league uh, for Robellis. He's now 2-0 in the heavyweight division, and they may have even labeled that as super heavyweight. But he beat Marcos here, who I think I put 66K, so 6,600 on that one, and I won 124. This is one that I actually got wrong. It was a catch weight fight. I wasn't totally familiar with these two, and it looks like I put it on Ilias. I did pick Tyson Nam. I was familiar with Nam. He was a UFC fighter. I placed 66.89 on him, and he had probably the KO of the night. Dude, he knocked him into next week. Beautiful showing. And Loxby is, he's a great fighter. If I'm not mistaken, is Loxby out of Goat Shed? Because, you know, some of these fighters come from Goat Shed there in Miami, and they stack these cards with those guys. And being the fact that they kind of have that home field advantage, uh, just from being familiar and with the rule set and things like that. You know, some of these guys have undefeated records, but you know, I knew Tyson Nam had a pretty good possibility of winning that fight and giving him his first loss. Of course, I bet against Brad Jenkins. He had a kind of a bad showing the previous fight, and he's one of the more popular fighters. People really gravitate towards him, and I'll be honest, I became a fan of Jenkins during this fight because even though I had money on Elad and I thought Elad Suman was going to like give him another L, Jenkins turned it on and put on a show, man, and that was my second exposure. So the first time I watched him was a loss, and he had a lot of hype going in behind him, and then I thought Selman or Suman would use his length better, and he didn't. So I lost money. No, actually, I'm sorry. You don't lose money, but you don't win money, right? But I put 66.89 on Luan to beat Efren. I felt like on this one you could have almost went either way. So I won 153 on that. I also picked Anvar here to beat Ignacio, 66.89, won 158 on that. So, you know, I actually did better than I thought I did. I was kind of giving myself a hard time. I was long on Donovan Manuel. Now, this fight, you, I won't say that you could have put it either way, but you might have been able to put this one either way. Like these two had beef. They talked a lot of shit, and one was 3-0, and the other guy was no record, but he got choked out by President Awesome. And of course, Luis Melendez was undefeated. He was giving Donovan a lot of shit and making fun of him, calling him out, putting him on blast about the choke. So Donovan came in and proved a point, and man, that was a great showing. He really gave Melendez a great fight. I'm not sure if the beef was squashed afterwards. You saw President Awesome talking with them both. Tim Ha, he did not win. I felt like this fight, I forget exactly how that played out. I just remember feeling like, I don't remember. So, and of course, these bottom fights, I didn't have any money on. I didn't put any money on the pit submissions. Man, I'm such a grappling fan, but the pit submissions had like one good fight, and it was the last fight, Lance Palmer and Richie Lewis. and these other two here were not great, especially the Daniel Sattler. The Daniel Sassler fight, like they almost got in a fight afterwards, but they literally like set in guard and you know didn't really do anything. It was a fucking boring fight, dude. It was one of those things that make people not want to watch grappling, right? So I don't know. Like for every time you're going to get someone doing a flying triangle off of the pit wall, you're going to have some of these fights, some of these matches here. So my win summary was I won 1,171 off of about 100,000 tokens place. So that's roughly what, 10%. So I guess that's not bad considering. But I was, let's see, 1-1, 2-1, 3-1, 3-2, 4-2, 4-3, 5-3, barely above 500%, which, for my first time playing is not a bad percentage, but, you know, and I love winning money. So, looking forward to it. All right. So I'm going to do, no, I'm hoping what it does is even though while I'm live streaming, I can record a clip, and that way I can take this clip and put it up on OmniFlix TV. So I'm going to replay the Fight Farm song. And let me start off by getting it on. I wish Karate Combat already had the events up. They did launch the main event. They did launch the main event of the, or they did announce the main event, and Apollo announced some of the other fights besides the main event today and had his little breakdown on it, which was nice. So we do know who's coming for 53. And I'll probably pull up Makako's Twitter here because he is. I tell you what he is. He's walking around looking like what's his name? Oh man. All right. There we go. All right. So I got this set up. I'm going to go ahead and hit record. I'm going to play the song again and do my soft intro. And I'm going to go into talking about the KC53. I'm going to come back over here real quick and look under watch parties. Because I'm going to start promoting KC53 watch party a lot earlier. There could be there could be some issues. I don't know. I know Bell and Scott are going to be in ETH Denver, and I'm assuming that means they're going to try to go to the fights. I don't know if they're going to be able to set up and stream live from the fights, but it'd be nice if they asked them if they could get a space to do so. Scott was joking about setting cage side. Wouldn't it be wild if on his second show and the second OmniFlix show he was cage side just because they happen to be going to ETH Denver? But if that's the case, he needs to probably get on the ball and talk to them now and see if that's available. I'll still be available on the stream, and for some stream, I don't think I would try to do the OmniFlix live stream by myself. I did go to Discord and ask the team if it would be possible for me to get set up. I saw Chris from Core and Concepts was getting set up to do live streaming on OmniFlix TV. And That's going to be awesome. I'm not sure if he's quite live yet, but once he's live, we're going to definitely show him some support. So far, it still looks like it's Scott. We do see St. Dominic's High School education speech. It looks like RJ. See what it's showing. Okay. So it looks like he has. Let me see if I put my headphones on if I can hear this. Um, so right now it's just showing Chris from Core and Concepts. So this is probably them doing a test stream on his media node, I'm guessing. And you see the Core Concepts logo on the top right. You'll see the OmniFlix media node logo pops up. I'm guessing they're just doing some testing. And this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna ask them if I can be next, effectively. Because while I will be working with Scott and Bella, I'll probably go and have a chat with Chris sometime. Where we've been buddies since he kind of came over to the OmniFlix and introduced me to Corium, and yeah, it'll be fun. But I think I want to be next because there's going to be times where I want to do certain streams, and yeah, I'm already doing them to YouTube and Twitter, and I would still keep the streams going to YouTube and Twitter. But for me, I really want to have it set up so I can go to OmniFlix TV, so I can pretty much do what I want, right? So I have asked them. Hopefully, I will get an answer from them soon, and can get my media node set up, get it tested, and then I'll start making sure. Have tons of plans on content, more than just MMA, more than just Fight Farm. For those that know, I do have the Spitfire and the Cosmos uh, NFTs. I want to continue building on that collection um, by having uh, a spitter podcast. Spitter stands is an acronym, stands for smartest people in the room. And one of the things I pride myself on is always saying, I may not be the smartest, I may not be the most, I may not be a dev, I may not be this or that, but one thing I've done throughout my career is always surrounded myself with some of the smartest people in the room, and that's how I got into crypto back in 2012. Man, I was surrounded by some people who, because most people aren't as necessarily smart or bright, as everyone thinks they are. They're just good at networking. They're good at uh, being around people. And the reason that's not to say that people aren't bright or that I'm not bright or that you're not bright. But what I mean by that is you can't possibly know everything about everything. But that doesn't mean that you can't be in everything as long as you surround your people with the right. If you surround yourself with the right people who are in the know, who can give you advice and you can trust that advice and you can learn from them, it makes a huge difference, right? All right. So even for me, I have no clue on this podcasting stuff, guys. I'm just figuring this stuff out as we go. So I'm going to switch back over here and let me get off of OmniFlix TV. Let me go back to home and get over here. Where do we want to start the show? We had some NFTs listed, man. All right. So we got a UFC fight coming up in 2 days. Have those still listed here. Man, I hate the way the new thing is listed. Like it shows $62.22 in total volume, which we know is not correct. So I've sold over 18,000 flicks worth of NFTs. $2,800, almost $3,000 worth of IST stable coins. Not a lot on the Lab or the USDC or the Spice, but nonetheless, like we're more than $62. All right, so before I do anything, let me check one thing here. All right, pull up Maka Maka Maka. Good deal. The crypto champ, the people's champ. So that's going to be the next main event. His first bantamweight title defense, he is fighting Jesus Lopez. And woo, man, I wish I could get these NFTs out, but I don't think that I can. So we're still waiting on Karate Combat to give us some sort of answer on the um, some sort of answer on whether or not we can be an official NFT project and give them a cut. If we're doing a 20% fee to Karate Combat, that could be tricky. Um, so we'll see what they say. I think it's a great idea, but I know that fighter compensation and sponsorship deals and a lot of things that they don't go hand in hand. Um, with this. And I get it. There could be some confusion, right? So if Karate Combat makes 20% and 10% is for the community, 10% is for the fighters, I don't know how they distribute that on their end. You see what I'm saying? And I've already heard some stuff on like some of those deals not being necessarily straight up dollar value. It could be like, oh, I'm going to give you X amount of NFTs valued at X. Like for us, we're paying out actual money. And in our case, it would be either in Flix tokens or IST stable coins, depending on what the NFTs are sold in. And, you know, I get it because if Karate Combat pays them by the fight and then they pay them out of that pool of money, you start introducing like individual fighters for different dollar amounts per NFT and a lot of other stuff. I could see on their end that being more tricky legally, but in my mind, I'm like, well, not really, because if I'm giving Karate Combat the 20%, if I work out a deal individually for a fighter, to them that's more of a sponsorship. Like your NFT is going to be in the game, and I can use your likeness and I can use your name anyways. Karate Combat, so you know, in my mind, it's like you could pay the fighter directly, and you, Karate Combat could wash their hands of that part of it. Like, no, that's not coming to Karate Combat and then funneling through Karate Combat to the fighter. I could pay them directly and say, hey, we I could pay them directly by the NFT, but effectively you're not paying them for the NFT sale. You're paying them for the sponsorship, and you could even throw other things on top of that, like, hey, put the Fight Farm logo on your T-shirt, your walkout T-shirt, your rash guard. You know, other kind of ways to promote. You're paying them to promote the Fight Farm in the Pit, the brand, right? The brand and the game and the NFT collection. So hopefully we can work that out, man. I'm excited. I really wanted to get these done. I did some test NFTs for our Turo here. And dude, I'm telling you, the thing is like on Fight Farm, I had to on main event, I had to do certain things a certain way, because we're kind of in a gray area on making sure that we're not too close to infringing on any licensing or IP or, we have to keep the fighter super generic. And while I don't want to have like picture images because we're an art based NFT project, I can take the art that I normally use, that fight farm styled art, and I can layer that artwork of a fighter with the actual overlay of the picture of a fighter, and you combine the two and you get the best of both worlds. Like the clarity, the picture overlay, the artwork, almost like it had some movement and some depth to it. And I really enjoyed the way it looked. Now I've heard feedback. We do what we want. I do what I want to do, and I want to have a very art based heavy collection. I guess the closest we got was doing our IFC fights with Postmaster and Heck, but I had very direct permission from both of them to be able to do that, and that was kind of like one of the earliest tests that we had done. Um, but yeah, I'm excited to get official. If we can go official, and you see the numbers that we're pulling on OmniFlix TV, that's just going to help grow that collection because we're doing like almost like free advertising by streaming the events and talking about the events and building up to the events, doing the watch parties. If I can keep doing that on my end and creating a badass collection and building that treasury correctly and making it so that it's a true DAO where the players are the owners. Um, all I need is some fighters to top that off, dude, and we'll blow to go get UFC licensing. But one day I will. But I can blow the roof off Karate Combat, dude. Like we're prime, set, and ready, and it would help. It's not necessary, if they tell me no, you can't do it. You can't pay the fighters directly. Just give us our 20% and leave it at that. That's what I'll have to do, right? I'll have to ask them under what circumstances can I pay a fighter to promote the brand and the game. And they may say, that's fine. You can pay them X amount or P sold. You have the licensing from Karate Combat, but you also have the fighters promoting the brand, the game, the NFTs, combat NFTs. We'll blow the roof off of MMA fight NFTs in general. And when the bear market sinks in and everyone else is going fucking bankrupt and everyone's disappearing and they can't keep people in their collections, like, dude, we'll be chugging along. And I would have been chugging along whether I had Karate Combat or official licensing or any of that stuff at all, anyways, just because I'm pegged to a real world sport and entertainment. And we're not going to lose the bulk of our regular customers and players anyways because we offer something that's an actual service that's pegged and tied to something that's in the real world and not just something that is crypto centric. um, but dude, if you take what we've done and you see what's possible or what we might be able to do with Karate Combat, I don't think that people understand like the potential of what we have here. I hope that they understand uh, and have some faith and belief in me. We're people or three other people kind of helping me with some of the outside of the collection work and some ideas and some promotion. I'm not going to have a large pool of money to go out and spend on advertising or promotion or sponsorships. We just don't have that. And we haven't had any like token sale or anything of the manner to where we could have that. That's not to say we can't do that one day, but I don't think you do that just yet. And I don't think you do that just so you can uh I know how to grow this organically. And when the time is right, and you have the right audience and you have everything the right product to push, the right NFTs to sell, or the right token to hold a sell for. Like we'll pull the trigger when it makes sense. But for now, I need to convince fighters that, hey, this is a early opportunity for you, and if we can grow this together the same way I want to grow with Karate Combat together, there's a huge opportunity here for the fighters. Um, and it's going to take some of them that are truly into the Web3 part and that want to learn the Web3 part. And I'm hoping that we have some guys over there that truly want to learn some of the Web3 part, because if I had five, I feel like I'd be set. But even if I have two or three, I'd be happy, especially if out of those two or three of it. Okay, I've been saying I'm going to record for a while now. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to shut up. I'm going to get this song ready, and I'm going to play the song and see if I can't record an intro. And then after the song, I'll be right back. So let me get back here. And then I'm going to try to record this video so that we can have something for the KC53 data collection. And I want to use OmniFlix TV to do the data collection so that I can show their community manager, Fubar, how strong of a product the interactive videos are. Because right now, you have to upload the video to do the interactivity, right? But pretty soon we'll have that on the live streaming. And I'm not sure from a data collection perspective, once OmniFlix enables ads on live streaming and videos. Like, I don't know how much data they're going to collect and what their policy on sharing data and all this kind of stuff will be. So I think a lot of the data that we may have to get, or that we may want to get for Karate Combat and their community, as far as when we're streaming the fights or doing content related to the fights or predicting people who are going to spend money on certain things where they buy a ticket, all these things that you'd want to ask and get data from, I think we can incentivize the viewers who are watching our content related to Karate Combat and watching the live streams to really voluntarily hand over some of that information. And the cool thing is like, if you do it that way, you're not stealing their data and you're not forcing them to just, inadvertently or without permission or without knowledge that you're using their data for these things. You kind of say, hey, here's some questions. And then if you answer these questions, here's a possibility of something you may get in return. Of course, then you'd have to discuss like, how accurate is the data? Are people just pushing buttons? Are they being honest? Can the way you ask the questions and incentivize them push for honesty, push for accurate answers? Like if you want to know if someone's male or female, I feel like a good way to do that is if you offer rewards that are very feminine or masculine based, you might get honest answers. Because if anyone's just pushing a button and they don't want to be honest, they could just say I'm a male or I'm a female, and you don't know as the data collector whether they're telling you the truth or not. But if you can get that data and you can reward them with something like maybe there's Karate Combat T-shirts, and some are for males and some are for females, and you might say, well, even a guy would wear even a girl could wear a men's T-shirt, and even a guy could theoretically wear a women's T-shirt. Okay, but maybe if the women's T-shirt is like a cami, or what if you had like a sports bra, something that was very specific to women to give away, then you might get more accurate male and female answers because they're vying for a product that is going towards that. Now, I don't know how you would get like people to be honest about their location. And I don't know when you're asking for location, if you should ask for country or if you should ask for city and state. I don't know if you should ask for their zip code. And because OmniFlix could be around the world, maybe zip code doesn't make sense. So maybe you could put city, state, city, province, country. But that's the kind of stuff I've been thinking about lately, is how are we going to do this to get data for Karate Combat? All right, so I'm going to go ahead and push record. This is Fight Farm Arms. What's up, guys? This is Chris from Fight Farm, and today we are talking about collecting data for Karate Combat 53, the watch party. For those that don't know, there is a way to be incentivized to get karate tokens from the community over at Karate Combat. Um, one of the things you have to do is collect data. We took a sheet on the last time that we had the live stream on OmniFlix, and we were able to have a Google form. We did have some good turnout. I believe on the total numbers, we had somewhere around 350 some odd people watching the live stream. We gave out 250 proof of watching the live stream NFTs, worth of Flix tokens on those tips that night. But yeah, overall, it was a very successful show. It was the first time we did an event for live streaming on OmniFlix TV to check out the to pressure testing right now. And I've sent some messages to ask OmniFlix for what I need to do to get my already. And his first title defense is going to be against Jesus Lopez. They did announce some of the other fights on the Karate Combat X Space. Apollo gave a little bit of a rundown on some fighters. It seems like they had a lot of returning fighters who've been pretty active so far later last year in 24 and early 2025. So the event's going to be shaping up. It just so happens they're doing this at ETH Denver. And for those that don't know, Scott and Bella were already planning on going to ETH Denver for other reasons related to their projects. So I let them know, hey guys, did you know that Karate Combat is going to be live there? Now, I'm not sure exactly how they need to go about seeing if they can get a space at the event so they can live stream to OmniFlix TV directly from Karate Combat. Maybe that's possible. Maybe it's not. Maybe that changes up how they stream OmniFlix TV. Maybe that means that without Scott and Bella, because they will be in ETH Denver, maybe it's not possible to do 53 to OmniFlix TV, especially if I'm not set up for it and they aren't going to be able to do it. All these things are a question, but what I will say is this: even if we aren't streaming to OmniFlix TV, I'll definitely be streaming a watch party right here on X and Twitter Spaces or YouTube. And if I can get my media node set up before February the 28th, I will definitely push it out to OmniFlix TV myself, even if I don't do the actual way, the way some of these other guys over in the Karate Combat watch parties are doing it. But we'll see. We're about 5 minutes in. What I watch party, if you go over to the Karate Combat Discord, you will see So they actually responded to me about the media note. Um, just a minute ago, RJ responded to me, so that's good news. Anyways, you can come in and you can see the rule set on what's required to create a watch party. You can see they've had Kickback 3 watch parties. They had KC51 watch parties, KC52 watch parties, and then we got in on 52. And now our second one will be on 53. So, one of the things you have to do is if you want to win the $250 or get the thing, we use the correct hashtags like KCW party, hashtag karate. We did the sign up sheet. We had the docs from the Google form, and it would go to. Uh, so basically, I think I did everything that I needed to do. We don't have the money, but I have been in contact with our community manager, Fubar. I'm sure we'll eventually get a hold of that, and then we will use that $250 of karate tokens to incentivize people coming and watching us over on OmniFlix and join that with us. But in order to make this better for them and to really give Fubar some data that he may want, what I was thinking is, hey, rather than using a Google form, why don't I actually create a OmniFlix TV video and then use the video interactions to gather that data, and then it spits it out to the spreadsheet, which is no different than when we were giving out the form. So then, rather than sharing interactions and collect all of the data that would be required for us to meet the criteria of getting the karate. And what I planned on doing, I'm going to go ahead and just use the same uh, data that we collected on this previous Google form. And if you look here on the previous Google form, we had their name, which was required, their Discord handle, which was required, their X Twitter handle, which was required, their Hedera karate address, which was required. And of course, we asked for an OmniFlix and Archway address. The OmniFlix address is so one, I could give away Flix tokens or the fight token for Fight Farm. And the Archway address was because we know that you have the PBB Power Bottom token, which is Scott's meme coin here. And while you could do that on Osmosis, you could also do it on Archway. So I just did Archway because that's the way you would use it to get it over on Astrovault rather than Osmosis. So once we filled this out, this actually took us, once you submitted this, it gathered that data and we shared that data over to the community manager at Karate Combat. So one of the things I'm going to do now is if you don't have a Hedera address, you're going to want to go and get you a Hashpack wallet. So Hashpack is a Hedera wallet, and I'll go ahead and just go ahead and log in right here. And you can see here I have got three instances. I got the Fight Farm wallet, and it says L. That's my Ledger wallet. I have the regular wallet that says Chris, and I have the Chris ECSDA. Now, when you're doing your initial setup for the Hashpack wallet, which is a Hedera Hashgraph wallet, you're going to want to set up the ECSDA version if you want to use that on the karate.com Karate Combat app, whether you're doing the mobile app or the web browser app. If you want to put your karate tokens down and pick fighters to win more karate tokens, I believe you need to make the ECSDA version of the address. I can't tell you why that's seemed to be a requirement, but what I can tell you is the first wallet address that I used was my Ledger wallet. It did not work. So I went in and created my secondary wallet with a set of 12 word seed phrase. It did not work. And then that made me finally choose the option for ECSDA. And voila, it allowed me to connect to the karate.com website and pick my fighters and do all the cool stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and select this wallet. You can see here you have assets, you have swap, you have NFTs, you have dApps, a list of different dApps that are on the Hedera ecosystem, staking, and history. You have buy, sell, and store. You have a refresh button. So I'm going to go back to assets here, and you can see I have some HBAR. You can see I have some Asim, some karate. Down the bottom here, you see send and receive. So if you want to answer this question on Hedera karate address, once you have your hash, uh, once you have your Hash app address here, you click receive. Now, when you click receive, you'll see this copy address to clipboard. When you click that, it's going to give you three options. I can do this with no checksum. It's the 0.0.721, whatever your number is. That's going to be your short address in Hedera. You can do it with a checksum, which is the same as the first one, but it puts the -WECMF, which is a checksum on that address. Or it can give you a regular EVM address, like you're familiar to see with EVM, like on Ethereum, or different EVM based chains or layer twos on top of ETH that usually begin with 0x. Any of these three will work as far as putting in your Hedera address here for us to send the karate tokens to you for winning. And for them, that gives them an idea of how many karate addresses, Hedera Hashgraph addresses, are unique that are actually participating in these watch parties. So make sure you go and you check out the website, and it is hashpack.app, and you can get it right here. It'll take you to the web store. Of course, you can get it on iOS, Android. I use the Chrome because I do most of my stuff here on the browser. Make sure you pick up this app and make sure you give us your address. So as we go through here and we look at the form, we're going to ask you for all of these things. I'm going to put the interactions up here right in the OmniFlix video. We're at almost the 15-minute mark. So I'm going to stop this video at 15 minutes, and I'm going to make sure that I ask all the questions for the data that I want to give to FUBAR over at the How I Do This on OmniFlix TV 3, KC53, or KC53 will have a good time, and we'll do some giveaways. And please, please, please make sure you support us if you want to see these giveaways and these different incentives that we're going to have for you, whether it's NFTs or tokens, whether it's on Cosmos side, OmniFlix side, or even the Hedera Hashgraph side. Make sure you help us out. I'm going to ask these questions that you see listed here in this form, along with a few other questions such as sex, geography, and some things that FUBAR had mentioned if it was possible for us to gather. So if you want to, please answer those questions. Some of these are going to be required fields if I can make them that way. And of course, be as honest as possible. And we definitely appreciate you guys, and we will see you soon. Definitely thank you for taking the time to watch this video. And I will be keeping this live stream going. See you guys. All right, guys. So the stream is still going. So my question is now is where. Okay, so that's that. So my question is now is like, where did it save? The video too, because I have no clue. Like I have no clue where it would have saved. Okay, so actually, I found it. So when you're in Streamlabs, on the left-hand pane under the editor, there is a section that says recordings, and then of course when you go to the recordings, it says record. So I think what I need to do now, what I need to do now is while I'm live streaming here, I'm going to come back over. And the other thing is that at least now I know where the path is, and it actually said show in folder, so I see where the actual folder is as well. So I'm going to pull this off to the side so that I know where the actual file is. And then how do I get back to my, there it is. I'm back in my editor now. Okay. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to share my browser. And the first thing I'm going to do is go over here to OmniFlix TV. And actually before that, I'm going to switch over here and go to the studio because we need to upload that video that I just recorded. And we needed to upload that video right here to the asset library, right? And it's so easy. Dude, OmniFlix, I keep telling people, and I'm going to look right at you when I say this. People underestimate the value of a collector of NFTs. And as a creator, a collector of NFTs, uh, and as a creator, I've struggled with some of these same things that I didn't like about OmniFlix. And we have worked hard to change our image and to attract better creators to OmniFlix. But I'm telling you now, OmniFlix TV is doing a hell of a job of getting new creators over. I would love to see better NFT collections, but we're starting to see that as well. But what I will say is this: when you look and see how easy it is to upload your data and manage your data and your collection, create a collection, create your videos, dude, it's just so cool. So as you can see right here, I hit NFT, upload audio or video or images from your device. Okay. Browse files. I can either browse the file here, right? Or I might be able just to come back over here and maybe I can just drop it right in there. Boom shakalaka. Now, how cool is that? So you see how even the file upload. So I believe you can look right here and you'll notice supported file format. You have .doc, docx application, MS Word application, audio, video, uh, images. Drop an asset right now. There is a file size limit of 2 gigabytes. 2 gigabytes. But how many other platforms can you not ever even get close to 2 gigabytes? And guess what? It's not going to stay at 2 gigabytes. They're going to go much larger. Um, so this is chucking right along here. You can see I'm uploading my data. Woo. We're at a cool 35%. And it looks like we have about 5 viewers. Thank you guys. If you guys have a question, feel free to drop the question. But right now I'm uploading this video file from Streamlabs that I just took. And what we're going to do is we're going to create this as an NFT. The video NFT is actually something you can use to upload to OmniFlix TV. And then we're going to put, we did this questionnaire here on Google Forms and ask for your name, your Discord handle, your X Twitter handle, your Hedera. These were things that you specifically that we were requested to give over to the Karate Combat Discord when you do their watch parties, and this is how you can get paid out the incentive of $250 worth of karate tokens. Stream it. So John said those are cool looking. So real quick, John, let's just clarify what you mean. So for those that don't know, we have the crypto champ, the people's champ. We have Arturo uh, Vergara fighting Jesus Lopez on February the 28th for Karate Combat 53. So let me come over here and I'm going to make sure I mute this. And I'm asking them, what do you think is cool? Those NFTs that you saw for Fight Farm. So I'm going to head back over here. So you can see now, right? We got the video file there. I can hit mint right here, or I can exit out and I can see that under my, you see the asset library here, you got non-minted, you've got collections, you got NFTs, you've got listed, you've got auctions, you got all these things, right? So it'll put the video file that I just minted or that I just uploaded right here, it'll put it to a non-minted asset, and then it says mint NFT. Preview, edit asset, bulk mint, delete asset. So for us, what I want to do is I want to make this NFT into a video that we use over on OmniFlix TV, and I want to add interactions to it. But before I do that, I'm going to go back and answer RJ really quick, who had sent me a message. Going to do an interview series called Smartest People in the Room. And I want the spitter to be like 1 to 3 hours. I want these to be long form interviews. I don't want it to be something short. I know that short content is where it's at, but I love listening to long podcasts. I mean, when I'm not on here or on X Spaces, like I'm listening to Joe Rogan or different YouTube based podcast shows, and I rarely watch television other than fighting, and maybe some pretty good TV shows with my wife from time to time. But and even then, lately, she's been listening to certain people over on YouTube as well. I think she's starting to catch that bug and realizing like, yeah, it's cool to find a good TV show or something, but it's also great to really dig in and find interesting things in the real world. So for now, we're going to go ahead and hit Mint NFT, and we're going to title this Karate Combat All right. Karate Combat KC53 Watch Party And then what do we name the actual on OmniFlix TV? Okay. But for this one, we may or may not be on OmniFlix TV. That's going to depend on whether they get my thing set up and whether Scott or Bella and whether they're doing things in Denver. Like, it's still to be determined, right? And then basically, I'm putting an NFT description here. So answer the questionnaire for the KC53 watch party event. We gather some data for the karate combat community in exchange for karate tokens to reward the community. Collection. So this is going to go to Fight Farm TV. And we'll leave the stuff as we see it. And actually, I'm going to just put in here complete interactions to show karate combat what's possible. So yeah, this is going to be a way that we use to show the karate combat and Fubar, the community manager, and those guys like, hey, this is the kind of cool stuff you can do here on OmniFlix. And I want people here to go learn Hedera, Hashcraft, but ultimately you want karate combat to be a Web3 thing. So type, we're going to put, I mean, I guess technically it's a video, right? The title, I'm just going to copy and paste this entertainment karate combat KC53 MMA UFC fighting kickboxing karate boxing. Okay. I guess we can do the karate token. For rights, let me come over here real quick. I always hate, I can't even remember like the actual like numbers or letters of the COO thing. I'm just going to copy it. CC0. It's the collective or the community commons thing or whatever. Royalties, none of that stuff matters. This is a single NFT. Now here's where it gets cool because I got to put my trusty ledger. So that's one thing I start doing is I've actually got an account set up where when I promote the ledger device, if you guys order on the link that I put up there, I'll get like a percentage of every ledger that's sold and they pay you directly in Bitcoin. I don't have a lot of sponsorships or things I'm going to push, but one thing is I do use a Ledger hardware wallet, as you can see right now, where you can't see because I can't get the cable up. The good thing about this one is it does have Bluetooth. So if I had Bluetooth enabled and turned on right now, I could hook it up to my phone or my MacBook. But for now, I've got the cable on it. I'm putting my PIN in and I'm going to go in and approve this transaction. So I'm just connecting it to the Cosmos wallet. I'll click Mint NFT, confirm NFT mint. I'm going to approve it here on my Ledger device after I approve it here in Kepler. And it's going to go ahead and mint this video into an NFT. And then I can go in and schedule the NFT to So now we have the interactive videos. And I'm getting a little spin wheel of death here for a second. So I'm just kind of switching through. It's been a while. Like I haven't really utilized OmniFlix TV as much as I should have. I was kind of like testing it early on, and then I chilled for a bit. Now you can see this last one that I did, this KC52, and we actually minted an NFT as a reward. And I'm starting to wonder, should I have minted that NFT to that Fight Farm TV collection? And if so, if I go over right now and I look at videos, I don't think so because you actually have to schedule the video like to drop and all that stuff. Campaigns, interactive video. So if I go back to asset library and collections and I go to Fight Farm TV right here. So here's the watch party and here's the publish. List NFT or publish. Now the question is when I hit publish, is that going to let me set up the ability for it to be interactive? I think it does. Like I said, it's been a while. Even Scott was doing a walkthrough for showing how to publish a video uh, on OmniFlix TV, and he had to like stop in the middle of it. Okay, so you can, and you can see right here, add interactions, right? Okay, let me refresh the chat. Okay. So I'm just hitting play because usually when you're adding the interactions, you kind of move the you have to move the slider on the video content. Of course, you can see here it has the description, the video thumbnail. If I wanted to, I could create a different one. So now that I got the slider right, this is where it's going to be where I can actually come in and add the questions. And I think the very first question I want to add will be a poll. Now, the cool thing is you see the timestamp, you see the interaction type here, right? You see the duration. You can do it for like, I'm going to do all of these for 30 seconds, but you could have like less duration if you wanted to. And of course, they can pause the video. Um, And, for this one, so in my mind, like the very first question will be, are you ready to answer some KC53 watch party? Actually, I'm going to put the KC53 watch party questionnaire to win karate provided by Karate Combat. And what's funny is I'm going to put yes, and I'm going to put hell yes. So I'm not giving them the option to hit no, because if you want to hit no, then fuck you. Why you watch my video? That's funny, right? So then once you put the interaction on there, you can have optional, set interaction as mandatory or optional for some viewers. I think for this one, um, I'm going to put it as mandatory. See, that's the tricky part, right? Because you kind of want to know, do they want to give this data? So maybe I should put like, do you consent? And you know what? We'll do actually yes or no. So let's see, like, no, so you can't do it that way because if if they say no, but the spreadsheet shows the data, so what I'm going to put is answering interactions is what's the word? Answering these actions is implied consent. I'm not going to put are you ready? I'm just going to put answer the KC53 watch party questionnaire to win karate provided by Karate Combat. Well, see, here's the thing too: is like I can't promise them they're going to get karate just for answering these questions because so far we haven't gotten the karate tokens from them. So I'm just going to put answer the KC53 watch party questionnaire to share data with Karate Combat so that we earn karate. And I can't put that because I've only got two. So this is what I put right here. And you can see I've only got two slots left. I got 140 out of 50. So answer. And then for that one, I'm not going to put 30 seconds, right? I'm going to make that a shorter one. Like we'll go back to 20 because that shouldn't take you long. And I'm going back to my hell yes because they don't have a fucking choice. Either if you don't want your data shared with Karate Combat, then don't answer the damn question. So we'll put it that way. Answering interactions is considered implied consent. And then we're going to optional, we're going to say so if I toggle here, you can see the skip button comes up on the bottom right hand corner right there. So I'm going to leave this as mandatory so that they cannot skip it, right? And I'll probably leave all these questions as mandatory. Okay. And you can see on this bottom left hand corner right here, right? This is where it adds the interaction right there at that 10-second mark. And it pops up here and you can see the interaction, right? Perfect. Play. So here's my next interaction. And these will be short answer interactions. Is your name? You know, I didn't think about that though. It's asking for a correct answer. But that's like if you're doing a quiz. But what if I'm gathering data? There is no correct answer, right? So let me go back and let me edit. Like it's cool you can do that, but I don't like it's not about them being right or wrong. So and I'll just put users all have different names. And I'll just put enter your name here. That's the placeholder text. Optional. And we're going to save that. Hang on, what'd that say? Answers must be a string. Okay, so they're asking me like for my YouTube. So I've already got partially blocked. So let's see what comes up when I just search for Fight Farm. Okay. So I'm letting them know that I'm streaming here and I'm adding interactions. I gave them the link to Fight Farm TV on YouTube, and so let me get back over here. Now here's the problem I'm running into. It says, I wonder if I just hit save. Answers must be a string. Oh man, come on. So let me upload this over here to RJ. So we'll see what he says. I just told him, I'm live streaming, I'm getting this air. There's no right answer per se. Guys, while I'm thinking of it, if you haven't checked out the Cosmic Gumball Machine, get rid of this. If you haven't checked out Cosmic Gumball Machine, come over here. They look like they are uh, 10.3%. So about 1,032 NFTs total out of 10,000. It's zero point 0.5 OM tokens, which is about $2.88. And you can mint these. Really fun collection. If you go view them on the marketplace, they've already set up a DAO. And of course, Fight Farm, we have some NFTs over here. Some of our friends like Conspiracy Culture, of course, Bibby, Flarn. Uh, you can see right up the top, Mr. Minded. You have 777 Gaming, Creepy. A lot of good. I think there's 29 artists featured in this collection, and we're all splitting revenue based on some contracts that Flarn made. If you don't know who Flarn is, he's the creator and the guy that runs Shitmos over on. Of course, these are all by lowest price. But if I come up here and I change the drop down menu to most rare, you can see right here, this is the one of them that's created by Mr. Minded. But yeah, quite a few rare ones right up here at the top. And of course, as you scroll through there, you will see the Fight Farm ones. And one of the first ones is the NAP, non-aggression principle. If you want to see the different ones for Fight Farm, is once you find a Fight Farm one, which all of ours have the Fight Farm main event tag on the bottom left-hand corner, we have quite a few different gumballs that are just regular gumballs, and we did some that are anarchy related. And of course, you know me, I did some that were COVID related. Now, I thought that by clicking into the artist and going to, here we are. So you can see right there, that's the 4 that have been minted so far. I think I may have had like 25 or 30, maybe 28. I can't remember the total number of different NFTs. But so far we've had Toxic Spike Protein, Myocarditis Mom, You Were Controlled, and Nap Up. So you know how I roll. Let me go back over here and check now. All right, so waiting on RJ. Come back over. Let's see if it requires a period. Answers must be a string. Let's see if I refresh, if that makes a difference. Maybe there's something going on. Of course, let's see. Here's the first one. Still in the Fight Farm. We'll do short answer interactions. Duration, we'll take it down to 30 seconds. What is your name? Type your name. Leave it as that. Let's see if it goes through. All right, so I'll let them know that disregard. So there's the name. We'll hit play again. Right. I'm going to edit this because the timestamp needs to be like much further down the road. So let's see if I update it, if it actually moves it. It does. You can see right there, timestamp, and it moved it. So we got the name, come back over, Discord handle. So let's do the same thing there. We will do add interaction, short answer. You can see that's at 74. What is your Discord handle? Your Discord handle. Type your Discord handle or none. If you don't use Discord, we'll hit save. Karate. Okay. All right, let's see where I get to on this because, you don't want to have too many interactions all at once, right? And you want, like, long term setting this up, if I was going to use this method to gather the data, and push it to a spreadsheet that I could then turn in. It would be nice if you could push it to a Google Doc and not necessarily a spreadsheet. That'd be badass. And what I mean by that is like not your own Excel. Okay. Let me see how this is working. So it kept my Discord handle, kept my interactions. So let me go ahead and add short answer. "30 seconds. What is your Twitter X handle?" Type your Twitter X handle or none if you do not use X. At 185 seconds. So once I get here to about so I'm still talking. Let's see what our next, so here is Hedera karate address. And see, this is where I can really put in there like, so I'm going to pause this. Let's see where, this is where I can kind of mix up the data, right? And I can ask something like, where are you located? City, state, province, country. We'll put your location. Enter your location as city, state, province, country. And actually that needs to go to, actually no, that's it. Now see, the question is like, do I make that optional, right? I feel like I should make the ones that are not like, but see, they really want that data. I'm just going to put, I mean, they could probably put bad data, but for now, I'm going to keep it as not optional. Remember, we can always adjust this in the future. And we'll leave this as 40 seconds so they've got time to think about it. play. And now we will do add interaction. We'll do poll. What sex are you? And see, we'll give them an option for prefer not to say, but we'll keep that as a mandatory question. And because it's multiple choice, we can take that. It's actually already down to 20 seconds. And we'll click save. So here's where we can ask them to post their and I'm just basically telling them share that here to be eligible to win. Share your OmniFlix address. Paste your OmniFlix address here. And we'll leave that one at 40 seconds because they may have to copy paste and that could take a little bit longer. And I'm not going to do Archway on this one because he didn't do a power bottom giveaway last time. So here's the cool thing I can do here because they want to know your Hedera karate address. So what I'll do is short answer interactions. Share your Hedera karate address here. And then for placeholder, share your Hedera karate address. And actually, I'll put paste your Hedera karate address here. Set up via, and here's where I can share the hashpack.app. Perfect. And see, isn't that cool how you can just like guide them to what you want them to give you? And because the Hedera Hashgraph app is required, because it's required, one thing that I could do is if they don't have time to get it in there or they mess it up, I could have that as the very last question. Like, here's your last chance to paste your Hedera Hashgraph address if you missed it earlier. So I got city, I got sex, I got X handles, Hedera Hashgraph addresses. And I'll put a nice little poll question in there about what will they do with the karate tokens that they could win from the watch party. So I think that's everything on the stream. Omniflix, Archway, X, Hedera. We'll do another poll. Are you a karate combat fan already? I want to change that to short answer. Describe of karate combat fandom. Their level. We'll change that one to 40 seconds. And, you know, that could be because I changed it, right? So let me go ahead and refresh. Like, let's see what we don't lose here. So we got to share your Hedera karate. We edit 1320. No. Oh my gosh, I just deleted every interaction. All right, so See, it looks like RJ's actually watching me while I was setting this up. Block Eater. I don't know who Block Eater was. Guess it was someone who randomly joined the server. All right, let me go back. Oh, there they are. Huh. Well, I don't know how that happened, but it just deleted the one. Sweet action. Good deal. So that's great. I didn't lose everything. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get right to here. And I'm going to hit play. Looks like RJ may have. And let's see, I forget what the question was. Oh, yeah. So we want to add interaction and we wanted a short answer. Describe the level of karate combat fanatic. Type a description of your karate combat fandom here. Be creative. Oh, and you know what I need to do? I need to edit. Actually, that's at 40 seconds, so I can just hit update. Okay, and that's cancel. Let me see what RJ said. All right, so I'm going to get 2 more questions on there. And they're going to be so let me refresh. And I think for these questions, while that's playing, I'm going to come over to the Karate Combat, karate.com. And then let me find the fighters. It doesn't look like they have updated. And I should be able to come in here and do weight class. That's bantamweight. So I'm going to search by name and I'm going to type in Arturo. So that's the easiest way to do this. Let's get a quick screenshot here. And then Jesus Lopez bantamweight. We'll get his here. So this would be a fun little thing we can throw in. See, I was just commenting, guys, for those who might still be watching. It'd be interesting to see like how you could use what RJ just suggested um, to do video mints for the KC53 fighters. If you could capture like that KO that we had from uh, the last fight, if you capture those kind of moments and you give them to a certain number of viewers, and then collectors want to come buy those, then you can drive traffic to come and um, you can drive traffic to come and watch it on Flix versus the others. And I think that's the cool thing that OmniFlix TV can offer is like our incentive structures, right? Hit play. I'll get back over here for a second. Karate Combat. So we saw this Tyson Nam fight, right? Dude, if you look at Karate Combat Tyson Nam, let's see if this video clip comes up. Right there. So this is the kind of thing that, if you turn this into an NFT, but you would have to have that set up with, I think, Karate Combat, right? Because even if they're giving us the rights to live stream it, if we're going to make any kind of money off of it, and I don't know that if you gave it away for free, like if you really want to incentivize people to come watch it on OmniFlix TV, I feel like you give them the ability to, as they're watching this, to earn an NFT of this moment where he has this fantastic knockout, and you mint those into NFTs. And then what happens is like later on, if other people get wind of the collection, they can come and buy it. So you're kind of giving viewers the ability to mint NFTs for free, but then sell them on the market, which is kind of like buying your audience. And as long as we're giving Karate Combat their cut, right? So I'm going to throw that tweet. Oh, man. Why'd that work like that? But yeah, that's kind of the way I look at it is like you could do it for free. You could even do it where it's not transferable. You could do it where it's just a collectible. And if there's no money changing hands, what would Karate Combat say? If you're still using their likeness and their IP, they may say, "Yeah, but you're giving away our video. It's different than live streaming," which is what they effectively said. Yeah, go ahead and live stream it. But in my mind, I'm like, dude, you could turn that into a cash cow because in some ways, giving the NFTs away, if they can sell them, then there's a profit motive for them to come and watch on OmniFlix TV because they can actually earn money from coming to watch the fights here versus watching them on YouTube or X. Um, and then what does that do? That's mutually beneficial because then we get people coming over here. We could earn some money on the royalties as they be traded. We could pay Karate Combat money on the royalties traded. You could even pay fighters directly if they had an Omniflix address for the royalties on their video clips. Um, you could then the amount of people that come and watch it, that's a great working example on how they are able to use OmniFlix TV and give away free NFTs and still monetize it as a product. Just my 2 cents. Okay, so now we're going to do a fun little poll because I want them to see an interaction here. It's going to be a poll, and the poll is going to be who will win the KC53 main event fight. And we're going to say right here, we're going to go R to a row. Fighters. We'll go here and we will throw Arturo's name there. We'll upload his nice little photo here. Oh my gosh. It's not a square image. Is it because of the file size? Fuck, man. Okay, I have an idea. Let's see if this will make it work. All right, so let's try this now. I just did this. Let's do number 3. Okay. Dude, I dragged and dropped. Okay. All right, let's see if this works. So you know what? I don't even need the name here because it gives it to me there. And then browse file, go to 1. Options must be a string. Okay. I guess I gotta have something in there, which is fine. And then I'll come back here and go to fighters. Type in Jesus. And go here. Now let's see. Sweet. All right, we are just in time for the final question. Location, city. Who will win the main event? Are there any other questions I need to ask? Oh, we'll make that one optional and we'll keep it at 40 seconds and we will save. And that's everything. That's 11 interactions in a 15-minute video. Hey, dude, I'm happy. Channel. We know that's going to Fight Farm TV. We're going to schedule it now. All right, this is where my trusty ledger comes back into play. Let's publish. Dude, it should be right there, right? All right, guys, I'm out. You can see right here, I've got the KCW party, Karate Combat Watch Party post. Got the video uploaded to OmniFlix TV. It is an interactive video. Make sure you have a Leap or a Kepler wallet, or when you go to OmniFlix TV and you first hit connect, you can do the login with email. So I'm going to paste that to the Twitter. But anyways, guys, so I've been streaming for 3 hours and almost 15 minutes. So I'm going to call it a night. Definitely pick up your karate. Hopefully we can get some karate from Fubar and the Karate Combat ecosystem for the KC53 that we just did, and to get us ready for KC53 on February 28th. Excited to see this fight. Excited to see how the video interactions go. In fact, I'm going to look on it right now. It says uploaded today. In here shortly, and some people to interact with this video. Excited. Whoop, whoop. But yeah, guys, I'm going to call it a night. Luckily, I'm off work tomorrow, but I do have to work tomorrow night. Got a busy day tomorrow. It's going to be a lovely Friday. Going to get up, go to the gym, get some workout in. Might go do a little bit of jiu-jitsu tomorrow. Need to follow up with some issues from our car or our car accident. Yeah, it's going to be a busy day, so I need to go get some sleep, and I will see you guys next time. Thank you for watching. AJ, thank you for your help tonight. Guys, check out Fight Farm. Main event, we do have a fight tomorrow night, so if you don't have the Cook or Hard Knocks, you're going to want these NFTs. And you can see the $15 Spice Edition V1s, first editions are still there. And the regular editions are also still there. You can pay for them in Spice, or you can pay for them in Flix, or you can pay for them in IST. And we will have winners probably on Sunday to pay out the winning fighters and the spice winners. So I'm gonna call it a night, guys.